Hello everyone, if you don't know me, my name is Danny. I make videos about living with chronic illness here. I used to do cosplay videos here on my channel, but I'm not in a circumstance where I can really be doing that anymore. Or at least not the way I used to, so we're not going to go into that right now. I am making this video today because I want to talk a bit about my diagnosis that I just got. I did make videos about having narcolepsy in the past, but in my last video I talked about my experience in the emergency room when I went there this January after I had a really massive seizure, which is what's prompting this video today. This May, I followed up with a neurologist in regards to what I've been experiencing, not just the day of the emergency room, but since then and before that. And to make a long story short and get to the point, I have been diagnosed with epilepsy, which I'm not very surprised by, if I'm being honest. I actually expected that. I kind of figured it out myself before the doctor even told me, so I was unfazed by that. I'm just like, okay. But I did get to hear some new things, so that's what I will be talking about today. The reason for these kinds of videos on my channel is because I want to raise awareness and to help other people know that they are not alone in their experiences. I want to help other people know that they aren't alone in their experiences. All my seizures had the same types of symptoms. Actually, no, I'm wrong. So every seizure that I had in the past was the symptoms tend to vary in my case. There are about 40 different types of epilepsy or seizures. I should explain what it is first. Okay, so for those who aren't aware, epilepsy is a neurological condition where there is an abnormal amount of electrical activity in the brain. Sometimes it can be the entire brain, which is known as generalized epilepsy, I believe. And sometimes, like in my case, it's in one specific region of the brain. And while they have yet to confirm this, we're suspecting that in my case it is the temporal lobe. We're not sure which one though, the right or the left. In my case, I was experiencing a lot of deja vu. That's always the first symptom I get in my seizures, followed up by impending doom. Sometimes it can come with other things like strange delusions, a copper taste in my mouth, but that only happens with my really severe episodes. What else? I'll sometimes just get focal awares, or also otherwise known as auras, which are usually a sort of warning before a seizure for most people, or you can have them on their own. That's what happens to me most of the time. For me, it's always a really intense deja vu. I'm not talking like, oh, think I've seen something like that before. I'm convinced I've experienced that exact same moment in time already. But when I first started noticing something was really wrong was last year. In the beginning of 2023, I started having moments where I'd suddenly remember really random old dreams. I'm talking old dreams from years ago that I'd already forgotten about, You don't really remember your dreams much. You know what I mean. So these random dream memories would pop up for me during the most random of tasks. I'm talking, I'd do my makeup and I'd suddenly get a dream memory. I'd be cooking, I'd get one. That sort of thing. It's always tends to be when I'm doing something that requires concentration. Sometimes I'll be drawing digitally and it'll happen, specifically when I'm in the first few steps of the process, especially if I'm drawing on a transparent layer. But that's besides the point. You get what I'm saying, I'm sure. So, not too long after these brief episodes started, I woke up one night feeling really off. Like, my sleep was just interrupted for no reason. And I woke up with some hot flashes. And I thought, okay, something's really weird. I don't know what's going on with me. I laid back down trying to get back to sleep, and I realized I was just feeling really off, like super anxious. I thought it was a panic attack. And then I suddenly got a memory of a song from my childhood. Specifically, this song was very specific. I think it was called Spontaneous Combustion. What is it, whiny boy? So, yes. What is it, whiny boy? Okay, sorry about that. So, as I was saying, I woke up with hot flashes and this sense that something really bad was going to happen to me. I thought it was just normal anxiety. And then I got a very random song from my childhood playing in my head really intensely, if that makes any sense. It was so intense that no matter how hard I tried, nothing could get the song out of my head, no matter how much I tried to switch my train of thought. It's like I just couldn't control any of it. The specific song that was playing, if you're curious, was Spontaneous Combustion. I think it was, I don't remember what they called themselves, but it's from the My Scene Jammin' in Jamaica movie. If you know what movie and what song I'm talking about, I respect you. But yeah, so this song was playing non-stop in a loop in my head, and I'm just like, all this mixed together with the impending doom and hot flashes, I was convinced that, I know this sounds crazy, but I was convinced that I was gonna spontaneously combust, which sounds stupid looking back at it, because, like, how does that make sense? But I was absolutely convinced that I was gonna die of spontaneous combustion. I know it sounds dumb, but this is the kind of thing that epilepsy will do to you. Sometimes it'll make you have really weird delusions. So that's not funny, but it's funny to me because it just sounds dumb that I actually believed this was gonna happen. So I laid back down, trying to calm myself down and wait for this to pass, because I thought it was just a panic attack. And then I found myself unable to move, and I started trembling and feeling really tingly throughout. I don't remember what else. I just know that I was trying really hard to move. I think the worst part of all of that was that when I laid back down, not only was I unable to move, but my boyfriend was in the bed too, so like he was asleep. So for one, even if I was able to move or speak, he wouldn't have heard me calling for help. I tried to grab him or something, but it was too late by the time I realized something was very wrong. And two, because he sleeps like a starfish, I don't know, but because of his sleep position too, when I laid down, my throat was like right on his arm, like that, so I couldn't move, and his arm was right on my throat, so that also made it really hard for me to breathe while this was happening. So all I could do was just sit there and wait it out. Now, a little bit after that, my seizures started increasing in frequency. They were pretty brief, up to a minute or so, longest, but it started getting to a point where I was having at least one a month, and they were a lot more likely to happen if I was sleep deprived. Like, the reason I know this is because I go to San Japan every year. That's the biggest con there is in my city. And that particular year, San Japan 2023, I went to see Moa Shop the first day, which was the highlight of the con for me. I love Moa Shop. I'm a huge fan. And I didn't sleep until like 3 in the morning, and then I woke up at around 6 or 7 to get into my cosplay that day on Saturday. And that night, I also went to the rave. Didn't get back home until about, again, 2 or 3 a.m. Then again, woke up at 6 or 7 in the morning to get ready once again to put on my cosplay. And I went home a little earlier that day, I think around 2 or 3, because I was really, really exhausted. You can guess why. And next thing, I was just on my bed, I thought I fell asleep or something. I was just scrolling on my phone waiting to fall asleep. Next thing I know, it's like a piece of time it's like I skipped a piece of the next few minutes, and then suddenly I come back to, I don't know what happened. I just know that I'm on my bed still. It's like I blacked out, and that's all I remember. I guess that must have been an absence seizure or something, I don't know, because I know that I didn't feel sleepy before that. I didn't fall asleep. And after that, I think things got a little worse, frequency-wise. The next month, I caught a sickness from our roommate, and the fever triggered a seizure, a really bad one. That particular one was that my boyfriend and I were watching Beavis and Butthead. It was a brand new episode. Never seen it before. And I kept insisting, we've seen this episode before, and he kept telling me, no, we haven't, like, this is a new episode. And I'm like, no, I'm sure we've seen this episode before. And a little bit after that, I started once again getting that impending doom, the rising in my stomach, my pulse was going up, and then I realized, oh my god, it's happening. And now some of you might be thinking, why didn't I go to the doctor sooner? And my only answer to that is, I live in America. I can't afford that, especially right now that I'm unfortunately not employed and I don't have insurance. That a doctor's appointment is very costly here in this country, and our healthcare system is. A few months later, that emergency room visit kind of forced me to finally get this addressed. And now, after my visit to the neurologist and everything we spoke, everything he told me, I really regret not getting it addressed earlier, because even though I'm taking medication for it now, he told me that there is a very high chance that, because I'm still having auras despite being on Keppra, there's a very high chance that I may have drug-resistant epilepsy, or I should say medication-resistant. I don't know if YouTube's going to censor me for any of that. Basically, it means we can't tell. It's too early to tell for sure, because we've only tried one medication. And right now, he wants me to switch to Briviact, but that is a very costly medicine here that can go up to $1,000 or so. He upped my dosage of Keppra to 1,000 milligrams twice a day. We're gonna see how that works out. So far, the Keppra has worked to at least stop my nocturnal seizures, but I do still get at least 1 or 2 hours a month, as always. And that's what worried him, because he explained to me that if we don't get these seizures completely under control right now, they can get worse later on. And we don't want that, obviously. The way he explained it is, this is abnormal electric activity in the brain. And if we let this go without control, without trying other options, the brain basically learns, when you learn a new skill, that sort of thing, it forms a new pathway in the brain, something along those lines, from my understanding. And seizures kind of do the same thing when they're left untreated for too long. The brain starts to learn them like a pattern. And that's why he wants to get them under control while it's still kind of early. He also wants me to get an MRI done to make sure there's nothing abnormal up there in the brain other than, the electric activity. And he also wants to do a video EEG. I think this is the one they do in the hospital, because I've done an EEG before, like ambulatory one, except that one was 3 days and it was at home. But what he wants to do is, they may end up putting me in the hospital, I think, and purposely inducing seizures to see what region of the brain they're coming from, whether it's the right temporal lobe or the left one, and to see if, the patterns, etc., all of that. That's the simplest way I can explain it. Neurology and the brain in general is very complex. So as for the treatment I'm currently on, Keppra, that treatment has kind of been working for me. I do still get auras, that's why my neurologist got worried, but it has kept my nocturnal seizures under control. So at least that, because that's the main thing that I was really worried about. Because I'm still getting auras, he wants me to switch to Briviact soon. That medication's very expensive though. So he told me that I can go to the Epilepsy Foundation, and if I qualify, they could help me get my medications that I need for free. As for how I felt when I got my diagnosis, I was not shocked. I already knew. I figured it out myself before anybody else did. When he told me about there being a high chance of me being drug resistant, that's what really scared me, and I've been feeling a mixture of numb and anxious ever since I got that bomb dropped on me. It's gonna take me a few days to really process it, but I'll be okay. It's just, when you get to hear something that unpleasant, it kind of messes with your head for a little bit. I remember I was feeling hungry, but when I went in, and after that, I was still hungry, but I didn't really have an appetite. I didn't want to eat, but I still had to, So I just had a light breakfast I couldn't even finish my pancakes, but I did manage to finish my hash brown and drink some of my smoothie. I don't know exactly how I feel about this right now, other than anxious. The anxiety did unfortunately make the side effects of my meds worse, but it's either I deal with that or keep having seizures, You can't really win. I have like a minute left to record, but all I'm gonna say for now is that yes, it is scary to live with this, but I'm not gonna let it stop me from chasing my dreams. I'm sure there's still some hope for me in the future, so I'm not totally giving up right now. I'm just gonna keep on trying and looking into where I can get help and whatnot. And yeah, I don't know how to end this video, so thanks for watching all the way. Hopefully I'll film more when I have more space on my phone. Honkai Star Rail took up most of it, so I'm gonna stop the video here because I'm running out of time. Goodbye.